Hello, my darlings. I'm Seren Briar, and welcome to BiteNotes, the recap show for the Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle ATL by night. Tonight, we look back at Season 5, Chapters 3 and 4. Now, let's sit back, relax, and recap a vampire story. Chapter 3, Paved with Good Intentions. As the intruder alarm blares, Anton, Melisande, Thomasina, Hexadecimal, and Jackson scramble for what to do. Just as Hex is about to cloak them and obfuscate, the alarm stops. A stern, angry voice carries over the intercom. It was a drill. Since the third floor didn't take it seriously, everyone is ordered to report to the fourth floor training room for a 2-hour seminar on the importance of intruder drills. With the facility now effectively unmonitored for the next 2 hours, the Shepherds and Jackson are more confident about their ability to get out of here with Eren, and maybe even gather some intel. Once the coast is clear, Hex and Jackson retrieve Eren and bring him back to the others. Eren is dazed, confused, and absolutely exhausted. He wasn't allowed to sleep through the day and doesn't know how he was taken. Now that they have Eren back, the group heads up the stairs to the floor with the soldiers' rooms. Anton proceeds to take pictures of everything they find in the facility and steals some Tremere ritual supplies. Hex steals a set of dog tags, and they continue to the next floor. This one is marked as Containment on the map Mel found, and is a long, curved hallway lined with 14 rooms. Everyone decides that it's probably best not to open any of them. The next floor up has general doctor's offices, presumably for whatever cover-up operation goes on here, a kitchen, and a cafeteria. Checking the fridge, they find 4 boxes of bagged blood. 1 is labeled pure, 2 are test, and the 4th is marked Return all property to Dr. Amanda Gilbert. They take a few bags from each box before Eren mixes up the ones that remain. Jackson, Anton, and Hex want to gather more intel, and they leave Thomasina, Melisande, and Eren in the cafeteria. The intrepid explorers supernaturally race down the stairs to the security office, where Anton takes more pictures. Unfortunately, Hex doesn't have the equipment to get anything off of the computers, and the server room is locked. They head up to the medical level, where there are 3 large rooms. The sign over one is injections, another is dissection, and the third is live experiments. Hex peers into the injections room. Inside is a man strapped to a T-shaped table, hooked up to 12 IVs, all with different colored liquids dripping into him. Black veins spread from 3 of the injection sites, and he looks completely disoriented. Jackson opens the door to dissection. Another man is strapped to a table, his flesh cut open and peeled back like an autopsy. Rib spreaders in his chest hold him open, his organs exposed to the open air. Calipers hold cuts on his thigh and bicep wide. The man whines softly in pain, barely awake, but completely aware. Jackson is ready to just put him out of his misery, but Anton recognizes this man. This is the Tremere who was taken. Anton asks Jackson to knock him out without killing him, and he does. As Anton uses clamps to pull the incisions closed, Hexadecimal objects. She wants to gather intel now and come back later. Anton begs Hex to let him save at least one person here, but she argues with him. It would be incredibly obvious if this experiment went missing, since it's not like he could have just gotten up and walked away, but they've taken Eren already. Perhaps the Second Inquisition will connect those two disappearances instead. Anton hefts the vivisected kindred over his shoulder, and they go back up to the cafeteria. Jackson is disappointed he didn't get to break anything. The rest of the group agrees with Hex that stealing an active experiment is pretty obvious, but it's too late to put him back now. They go up one more floor and find the exit. Hex obfuscates them all again, and they creep past the lone receptionist. Luckily, she's too engrossed in a video game to notice anything as they slip out the door. A sign out front identifies the building as Ignatius Pharmaceuticals. Now that they finally have signal, Jackson marks their location on his phone, and Anton successfully texts Mark. As they wait in a MARTA parking structure for their ride, Anton explains Dot and her betrayal to Jackson. Hex doesn't believe Dot would ever sell them out like that, and starts to argue.
You have no reason to suspect that your sire might be using you.
I mean...
Wait.
No, what? I mean, she uses me as much as, someone uses a really good tool to get information to do certain things, but not using me against you guys.
Are you sure about that? I mean, at this point, I thought I knew where the line was with Dot, and now I have no idea anymore.
Well, I thought there was a lot more trust between all of us, and I don't think that I know that anymore.
I trust you enough to tell you that this happened, as opposed to concealing it from you because she is your sire and your primogen. If there wasn't trust, I wouldn't have told you this.
There's always something else going on. There must be something else going on. There's no way that...
I thought you were smarter than this.
Okay, but look, you guys are walking around with this guy, and he was working directly with Lydia.
But yes, he was. And I had many suspicions. And then he showed up having torched the tabernacle because it was a Sabbat stronghold.
Well, what do you think that Dot's doing right now?
I have absolutely no idea.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to go a roundabout to get things done, and maybe making you think that she was not on your side is part of that. And honestly, I'm a little bit too hungry right now to keep this conversation going, and I'm going to vanish.
Hex storms off into the MARTA tunnels. Mark screeches into the parking lot to take them all home. On the way, Anton drops the flayed Tremere off with Proctor at the new public chantry. Mel texts Alpha and the Primogen from Mark's phone, but does not receive any response. Everyone arrives home to find the horses wandering the house, looking and feeling even more like solid, regular horses. Thomasina goes directly to her room, banging around and slamming drawers. Hex roars up soon after on her motorcycle, but avoids everyone and goes to her room as well. Anton takes Eren to his room. Eren has been mostly quiet the whole night, and his memory of the blood hunt is spotty. He's still tired and confused. Anton uses Scry the Soul on Eren to see if he can get an idea of what's wrong. It's clear that the Second Inquisition really did a number on him this time, to the point that he doesn't even clearly read as kindred. Whatever Eren went through in the 16 hours he was missing is worse than anything he'd ever experienced before. Anton leaves Eren alone to rest, and tells Jackson and Melisandre what he saw. After the couple of nights they've had, Mel doesn't trust Jackson one bit. Thomasina summons Jackson to her room. It's strewn with clothes, and a packed suitcase sits on the bed. Thomasina asks him how to reset the vicissitude and fix her face, and he shows her. This is something he learned from Lydia, as well as hate and other things that are too traumatic for him to get into right now. Vicissitude was Lydia's only useful lesson. When Jackson opens up to Thomasina, she does the same, admitting she doesn't want to stay here right now.
I guess my advice is don't go so far that you can't reach back out if you need to.
Oh, that's never been a problem for me.
Okay.
Well,
Because in the 30 some odd years that I was by myself, it would have been nice to have a friend. And I only had one for the last 5 years.
I am in a very different shape than I was, no matter how I try. And I am in need of some ability to just rely on myself again, and it's going to take some time to learn what that needs to be. I know that your particular inclination is to destroy something that tried to destroy me, and I trust that fully. I'm not going to be alone for long, and I'm not going away for long. Thank you for your assistance.
Mm-hmm. One more piece of free advice. Changing your appearance is easy.
I didn't like that. I've kept this everything for a very long time. I've kept my name. I've kept a lot. I'd like to do that as much as possible, and I'm a little overwhelmed, so I will be in Pontevedra. I'll be back.
Outside, Thomasina finds Mark and asks him to take her to the King and Queen buildings. They drive in silence for a bit. Mark can tell Thomasina is running away. He understands the need to get some perspective, but knows from experience that the only thing you gain from running is the knowledge that you ran. Thomasina doesn't know what else she can give here. She just wants some time to think. When they arrive at the King and Queen buildings, Thomasina takes her suitcase and goes to Tabitha's office. She tells Thomasina about the blood hunt and that her secretary was with the Sabbat, and lets her Primogen know she's leaving. As an alternative, Tabitha offers her panic room to Thomasina for as long as she needs, in case she'd rather not go too far. Thomasina curls up on the bed in the panic room, where she and Philip once hid when the tower was burning around them, wrapped in blankets, keeping herself safe for just a little while. Earlier in the night, the real Eren went to meet Alpha at the Masquerade. He overhears the prince addressing Elijah, Georgina, Falcon, and Falcon's coterie. He'd told Eren what he needed to in order to calm him down, but none of them are to go anywhere near the Second Inquisition building. Since the Shepherds already managed to take out one facility, one of these problems might solve the other. Either the Second Inquisition takes out the Shepherds, or the Shepherds destroy this new one too. Everyone looks up when Eren enters. Alpha was expecting Cirrus. He cautions Eren that he doesn't understand the full scope of things, but Eren's anger rises in indignation. If Alpha acted like a real prince right now, he would pull the Shepherds out of the facility only to kill them himself. But Alpha's not a real prince, so he's letting them sort it out for themselves. If Eren is going to be a problem, Alpha will have no choice but to stop him. Eren starts to walk out to go rescue his friends himself when he feels a sharp pain in his chest. His entire body slows down. Sheriff Elijah Grace, moving with inhuman speed, has staked him. Elijah catches Eren as he falls, regretfully mouthing, "I'm sorry." Eren tries to spit in Elijah's face, but can't as he collapses. Eren is in torpor, and the shepherds have someone else in their home. Chapter 4: The Delicate Dance We Do. It's been a few days since escaping the Second Inquisition facility, and everyone has some personal business they want to attend to. Hexadecimal looks back through the city camera footage from the night of the blood hunt. She follows Jackson and the shepherds' route through the city, watching them slaughter other kindred in the streets, leaving the bodies as they move on. She finds the video of the final parking lot, and the recording keeps going after they flee. Hex watches as Lydia, laughing, raises her hand and the wall of fire dies down. All the people with her look like they suddenly wake up. Lydia speaks to them, exerting some kind of large-scale influence, and they all simply leave. Once she's alone, Lydia disappears into a shadow. After looking through the camera footage, Hex goes to check on not Eren. He's feeling a bit better, but is still tired and not acting like himself.
Would you have changed how we got out?
Of the SI facility?
Yeah, I know we snuck around, but to be honest, with everyone hungry and together and stressed, I'm surprised we didn't just, eat the receptionist. We were right there at the door, and everyone else was gone. Why wouldn't we?
Why would you want to eat the receptionist?
Not me. I'm just surprised that with so many hungry people and everyone together, it seemed like a pretty arbitrary calculation.
After everything that's happened recently, Melisandre isn't feeling very confident that the city's leadership cares about her or the rest of the shepherds. She hopes a coffee date with her very old and dear friend, a Haitian Samisi named Jean-Baptiste, will give her some insight and perspective. Jean-Baptiste and Melisandre have over a century of history and companionship with one another. They are the platonic loves of each other's unlives, and he's changed her appearance for her numerous times. Jean-Baptiste is a vivacious and fashionable man who, unlike Mel, tries his best not to involve himself with any politics, but still manages to gather plenty of rumors. It's clear that Melisandre has told her friend just about everything that has ever happened to her, including the Renasherie Camarilla and the prince's election. The word on the street about the shepherds is that to the Sabbat, they are filthy traitors, and to the Camarilla, they are, like all kindred, a bit suspect. He's also heard about the blood hunt, and tells Melisandre about a place she could go if she ever wants to get out some pent-up aggression. It's sort of a break room that Dot Matrix recommended to him. A place that lets kindred do whatever they want to the worst kind of people who need to disappear. Jackson has decided he wants to move onto the Gangrel compound. Keeping his promise to Eren that he would keep the Gangrels safe from the Sabbat, he tells Denise that Jenna is a plant from Lydia. Once Denise has proof from Lydia's hard drive, she drags Jenna out of her home.
But Denise wastes no time and
grabs the handle of Jenna's home and sends the door flying across the yard, with a few gangrel ducking out of the way. And you can hear Jenna protesting inside. She's screaming, crying, "What the fuck is going on?" And soon you see Denise dragging Jenna completely effortlessly by the shoulder into the yard. The gangrel begin to kind of form a circle around Denise. And you see Denise's fingertips elongate into claws, and she sinks them into Jenna's shoulder as she forces her down onto her knees in front of everybody. She says, "Now, for all of you, I think perhaps I've been a little too soft, a little too kind. You mistake my exhaustion for weakness. You mistake my openness for gullibility. The truth is, I will believe in every gangrel in this world until they prove me otherwise. This is otherwise." And you see she takes her claws out and sinks them both into the sides of Jenna's neck as Jenna starts screaming and blood is pouring down her neck. And in a swift motion, Denise rips Jenna's neck in two, throwing her head to the other side of the circle. The head goes rolling across the grass, and Denise walks over and gives it a sharp kick to your feet, Jackson.
I'd put my foot out and stop it.
She looks to the group and walks back to the mill and goes, "She was fucking Sabat. And if y'all get any funny ideas, step up. I'll finish this right now."
Denise leaves the body out in the open for the sun as an example to everyone else. As Jackson settles into his new home, the compound is put on lockdown for the next week. Alpha calls Thomasina, who still hasn't left Tabitha's panic room. The Succubus Club's event coordinator, Camila, wants to tour the Fox Theater as a potential venue. This is a job for a heartbeat, and Thomasina is their prettiest one. Camila is a beautiful, entitled, rich Egyptian Valley of the Kings girl, and she is very good at her job. She was embraced into the ministry clan by her father nearly 400 years ago. Thomasina comes prepared with the history and layout of the Fox Theater. Camila is particularly interested in the Egyptian ballroom, a kitschy yet charming space preserved with its original Egyptian revival architecture from the 1920s. Thomasina is a bit offended to learn that Atlanta is just a stop for the traveling Succubus Club on their way to Orlando, but manages not to show it. Both Thomasina and the venue have impressed Camila. This will be a perfect place to host the Succubus Club, a grand kindred event that will be Elysium for all sects, including any anarchs and Sabbat. Anton finds Hex playing video games in the living room. She's still terse with him, but he explains everything about Jackson and his help with the Sabbat, and she begins to soften. Anton has missed Hex terribly. She's one of his closest friends, and without her to keep him grounded, he's uncomfortable with how easily he fell back into who he was during the final nights. Hex is conflicted about how much everyone in the house, especially Anton, distrusts Dot now, and how they're extending those misgivings to her.
I'll be honest. Dot asked me to keep an eye on you guys.
Mhm.
And I've always thought it was because you were friends. And I do really care about everyone in this coterie. You and Thomasina and everyone bringing up your distrust in Dot is scary because I feel it a little bit too. So
Why is that?
I don't have a good answer. I don't know. Sometimes you just look at data and you put together dots and points, and sometimes things just don't add up. And I like when things add up and things are not adding up. So I'm just paying attention. But on the overall, I just need you to know that I would never abandon you guys for that long. I really want you guys to trust me, and it's just kind of sucky that your distrust in Dot, I feel like, is, plus with everything else, is weighing back on me. So that's why after we left, I came back, because I do want to follow at least that part of what she's always telling me to do and watch out for you guys.
How I feel about Dot has nothing to do with you. You are still you, and my trust in you has not changed. You are not your mother's daughter.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Hex goes with Anton to visit his fellow Tremere, Professor of Quantitative Biosciences Dr. Astra Mendez at Georgia Tech. Mendez is a sharp woman whose smile never seems to reach her eyes. Anton gives her the 2 blood bags he stole from the Second Inquisition facility, one from the test supply and one marked "Return to Dr. Amanda Gilbert." Mendez is far from pleased that Anton has rashly brought SI bait into her office, but her curiosity is piqued when he explains that Dr. Gilbert started working the night shift after Cirrus was attacked. She agrees to process the blood bags and see what she finds, but it might take a while since she doesn't know what she's supposed to be looking for. Not Eren has been settling in. He's starting to level out, and the knowledge he has is solidifying. After a few nights of getting his bearings, he sets an alarm and wakes up for the most breathtaking sunrise he's ever seen. It's also the first sunrise he's ever seen. He goes outside into the light, and for the first time in his existence feels the grass and hears real birds. After being raised in the facility, the outside world is almost overwhelming, but it's still absolutely beautiful. A package is waiting for him on the front doorstep with a phone inside. Not Eren spends a few hours taking pictures in and around the house. He starts to feel conflicted. He has a mission and knows what he has to do, but at the same time, it's nice to walk around outdoors in the warm sun and get to do what he wants. Not Eren sits on the front porch, eating a few of the little snacks he managed to smuggle along with him. Before the sun sets, he hides the phone at a predetermined dead drop. Not Eren is back in bed before anyone else wakes up for the night, when he'll have to continue the charade of pretending to be the gangrel Eren Ulrich. Thank you for tuning in to BiteNotes. Remember, liking, commenting, and subscribing does not violate the Masquerade. You can view full episodes of ATL by Night on our YouTube channel. We stream Tuesdays at twitch.tv/ATL by Night. Remember to support us on Patreon and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, good night.